Population's growth hasn't been in sync with economic activity over the past 10 years or more. With millions flocking to urban areas for economic opportunities, the demand for those opportunities has now surpassed what the economy can offer. With unemployment at its highest since 2008, it seems there's still a long way to go before the economic storm is over.
Essentially, the economy is just not growing fast enough to be able to keep up with the pace in the population growth rate. And there are many drivers of that. A lot of it stems from the fact that over the past decade we have seen a proliferation of state capture and corruption, which has sucked a lot of resources out of the economy and redirected them to a handful of connected people, individuals who have benefited enormously, but the average man in the street has lost out terribly. Secondly, the government has failed to embark upon meaningful infrastructural investment programs, and the state-owned enterprises have been collapsing financially due to mismanagement and also state capture. Thirdly, we have been failing in terms of our educational outcomes. Too few people who come out of schools are sufficiently educated to command jobs where they can add value to be gainfully employed. Fourthly, there's been a very adversarial labour relations environment. Every second turn that you make, you have unions going out on strike, be it for higher wages, be it for conditions of work or whatever, and that has been very unfriendly to any growth taking place in the economy. And there are probably many other such factors: over-regulation in the economy, an obsession by the government to interfere with economic activity rather than let private entrepreneurial spirit actually take hold of the economy.
According to Stats SA, since 2006, there has been a greater dependence on social grants and less reliance on income from the labour market. The overall unemployment figure stands at an unprecedented 29%.
There is a lot of unemployment these days. People can't find jobs. It's just too hard. People drop out because they see no use of going to school with qualifications at home. Yeah, it's just a lot. It's just not enough. Can they just create more jobs?
The only way to make people or to create more jobs is to empower people with skills like plumbing, electricity, carpentry, all that stuff. That is what South Africa needs now. People with skills who can do something. We don't need these degrees now with ties. There are many managers there. Who am I going to manage when you come from school? We need to make sure that our youth have got skills, proper skills. That's the only way to find jobs. Not to go to universities. We've got many managers. We've got enough graduates sitting down, doing nothing, selling scope here in Joburg graduates. That's how I see my system. Skills development, that's the only way.
The government is always having promises. They tell us, okay, we are going to create jobs for you. But if you can find out the rate of unemployed people, it's too much. I really don't know what is happening, whether they are still going to do it as the years goes. And since now the president now is the president of UN as well, I believe he's going to do something, but now I'm not satisfied. There is no jobs here. We are suffering a lot.
I'm also a graduate, and I know a lot of people, if you don't want to go back to school as a postgraduate, it's difficult to get a job. I'm currently going sort of like through the same thing. The experience thing, I think it's killing us a lot, because with most of the things that are going on in the country, also with E4AR, it's difficult to be getting jobs.
The IMF says government needs to focus on creating a dynamic business environment. It's said to be more conducive to private investment and job creation. But in the meantime, the quality of life is fast declining for urban dwellers who came to uplift their lives.
So the decline in per capita income, in effect, has very startling impact on both individuals and our society. So for individuals, it means that people are less able to afford food, to afford transport, to go and look for a job, to provide for themselves in terms of electricity, housing, all the basic commodities that go into a decent standard of living. For a nation, it means that if people people have less money, they're less able to act as consumers. So the demand for goods in a country is reduced significantly, as we've seen in South Africa, which means that there's no way of supporting small businesses to start because people just don't have sufficient income to support the kinds of initiatives that are required to grow our middle class and hence to improve the distribution of income. And so you see a declining cycle.
As it stands, economists believe the poor will continue to remain poor because of the unequal wealth distribution. Nothando Makutulela, SABC News, Johannesburg.